to 5-star matchup. Important PSA. It's the final week of the season, and as I write this, I'm not sure if it'll be the last episode of the year or not, but if it is, I just gotta say thank you all for another great year, my 5th doing this show. If you like what we do, please do consider hopping over to patreon.com/5SMU and donating $4 or $7 a month to keep us in business for a 6th season. Do it now! And make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. Well, what do we have here? A third-string quarterback leading the Steelers against a very wet team of Ravens backups in Baltimore? Where have I seen this before?
Here's who picks it up. So Samuels got there first, fell on it, but couldn't control it. Recovered by Michael Pierce.
Wake me up when Ben starts throwing again. Welcome back to 5-Star Matchup. Does Mason have what it takes to pull off a third straight dub? Or does he turn back into a pumpkin before our very eyes? Let's take a look. Out-trots the aforementioned gunslinger from Oklahoma State, who's currently embroiled in the best stretch of quarterback play the Steelers have seen since Large Benjamin pre-injury. But with the weather in the Charm City akin to that of a fishbowl, you gotta figure the Faulkner-Sullivan ticket plans to pound the ground. And ground it they do. Start this one off with a very slippery almost oops for the Naj man, who luckily retains, followed by a catch and run almost first for the very same double deuce. And on third, Money Mace keeps him moving with an on-time bullet through a pair of defenders to his man Deontay J for the Steelers' first of the game. 3 and out, never heard of her. Steelers tempt fate with a totally unnecessary toss to the buttery bowling ball Jay Warren, who again thankfully hangs on to it, but on 3rd and 4, Mason makes one of his worst decisions and throws of the year so far, but it thankfully falls incomplete, and it's over to the Ravens. You know, Press, usually when we talk about punts inside the 20, we're talking about a little deeper than the 19. Out-trots the sopping wet Huntley, who people like to remind me was once a sham Pro Bowler, and about that, all I have to say is Mitchell Trubisky, too, was once a Pro Bowler. That tells you every single thing you need to know about that meaningless honor. ESPN's Cataract Vision barely spots Huntley scrambling for nothing, followed by a throw short of the sticks, and then a deep shot in the bucket to Justice Hill on Peasy the Younger, but he can't quite make the catch, and it's back over to Money Mace and the Rude Boys. First, ESPN shows a graphic that makes me feel incredibly old because I still remember Bill Cowher versus Brian Billick, f*** me, and it's a toad up the gut for the omnipresent Naj man, who for the 3rd year in a row has simply gotten better as the season has gone on. Say what you want about Naj or where he was picked, but you can't tell me the guy isn't a Steelers running back. Dude's a mutter if I ever saw one. Nice flip out here to Jay Warren, but note Bowser Jr., aka Connor Hayward, out here leading the way with a nice block. His stats won't show it, but Connor continued to be a valuable utility guy for the Steelers in his sophomore season, if you ask me. Steelers in business past midfield. Matt Canada continues to roll in his maple syrup-drenched grave as Calvin Austin takes a toad around the end for a few, again keeping the Steelers ahead of schedule, as per usual in the Mason Rudolph era, and it's another 2019 flashback for me. Guess I'm nostalgic.
72 has reported as an eligible receiver.
So they're going for that 4th down.
Rudolph is back. Throws it in the flat first down. That's Trey Edmonds turning upfield at the 39-yard line.
And the Steelers continue to matriculate down the field. 2nd and 5 now, the rain-drenched Cowboy stands in and finds route runner extraordinaire DJ, whose skill set could and should be huge today with the slippery turf, and he scampers for another first. As this drive takes over 5.5 minutes, the bruiser Najee hammers him again, this time for 9, followed by a toss for a bunch more, and suddenly we're donning our black and gold Saturday best as the Steelers enter the business zone. Why make it any more complicated than this? Perhaps my simplest call of the year. Najee takes the rock from Mason, Isaac Seumalo literally kills a guy, and the Steelers are up 7-0 on their hated rival Ravens. You can celebrate the score if you want, but I'm just worried that D lineman isn't gonna take Seumalo to court after that assault. What a drive for the Steelers' mad mutter offense. Oh, what will happen on Sunday? I'm writing this at 10 a.m. Sunday, so I'll go on record. Bills win, but so do the Titans and the Steelers get into the dance. Back to the present, or the past, or the future? Not really sure which tense we're in here because the Steelers seem to be mired in 9-8 and 10-7 finishes for the last and next 5 years. But hey, the inept Huntley goes 3 and out before I could even finish my complaint. Time for Mason and the boys to stack. Najee gets him going with another Jerome-like toad up the middle, but on 3rd and short, the ever-aggressive Mace Rude lobs one deep to single-covered Deontay, who can't quite make the catch or doesn't see the ball. I'm not really sure what happens here, but it looks weird and they never showed a replay, but who cares? Ball goes back to the Birds and we head already into the second quarter. By the way, would you believe me if I told you this was Mason Rudolph's last incompletion of the game? I fucking hate the Harbaughs. I just do. Presley Harvin still sucks. What an oinker of a punt for the slumping 3rd year, man, who should probably be replaced next year. What's Danny Smith telling them here? Punt good next time? Ravens get going, as they are wont to do, with a couple of runs from the veteran Melvin Gordon, but once, twice, 3 times a baby. Are those raindrops or tears from the aging veteran running back who coughs it up via the Mike Tyson-esque punch-out by Mark Robinson, and it's back to Rudolph and his reindeer games. More tossing and more dashing for the 3rd year Najman, who simply took what was available to him all day long today without f***ing up. Speaking of f***ing up, everybody's favorite electric meatball apparently needs a charge as Jay Warren commits the cardinal sin of fighting for extra yards unnecessarily in wet conditions, and it goes right back over to the Ravens offense, still stuck in neutral. Huntley scampers for a few, followed by a conversion through the air, but on 1st and 10, it's mean Mark Robinson taking a page from the Vince Williams playbook as he flies through the line for an incrinculant sack on Huntley. Watt and gang chase him from the pocket on 3rd, and these offenses continue to play hot potato in this fish tank of a stadium. Mace dumps this one off to the Najman, who in perhaps his only slight gaffe of the day, tries to get lateral, and Rock Ya-Sin hammers him short of the sticks. Great play by 23, I can't front. Naj comes up slightly short on 3rd, fuck it, I would have gone for it, but it's right back to Huntley and co. Facing a 3rd and gotta have it 9, Huntley gets enough time in the pocket to make his famous squashed grape appetizer, and he allows a beautiful touch pass down the middle to Treadwell, and did you feel that? This thing just shifted, didn't it? 1st and 10, and we got a hell of a case of a misplaced corner as Peasy Jr. takes the bait outside, as well as the obvious corner playing safety syndrome. Now I know Pat Pete has been doing a respectable job back there in the absence of Minka, but absence also makes the heart grow fonder, and peep this tackle attempt by the former All-Pro. Yike-a-roni and cheese. Couple plays later and it's more of the same as Huntley puts it on his man Isaiah, who isn't likely to go down with this phantom push by Levi Wallace, and this pure hope that he wouldn't have to make the tackle by Pat Pete, and in the span of 3 good plays, this thing has turned on a dime. Respect to the Steelers defenders who are playing out of position and doing their best, I get that, but I still gotta call it like I see it. Oh my goodness, the inverted gunner? It's not often that in one season you get the whole array of special teams play. By the way, I don't even have a joke here. I just still can't stop laughing at the gunner toe tap. I legitimately think it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in football. Just incredible stuff. Back to the sopping wet Rudolph, who has been magnificent on 3rd down since coming in, and here he finds the forgotten man, Pat Freiermuth, for a catch and run first. You can say a lot of bad things about the Steelers offense this year, but chief among them, how the did Pat freaking Freiermuth only put up 32 catches for 308 yards and 2 scores this season? There's bad and there's malpractice, folks. Great upper body strength here by Mason Rudolph, who compared to the Steelers' other quarterbacks is built like Carl Weathers. But right on cue, just as every other Steelers quarterback this year, just as I compliment him, he spites me with an almost oops, followed by a little completion to get back into the field goal range, but then a killer actual oops when he gets strip sacked by Kyle Van Noy, and the Ravens fall on it to end the half. We head in for orange slices and pretzel rods, all knotted up at 7 apiece. Hey, you, I don't like the fact that you're not subscribed on Patreon. Pause this video right now, pause it. Just click the screen, that's all you gotta do, and open a new tab, or better yet, do this on your phone while you watch on TV. Go to patreon.com/5SMU and join now for just $4 or $7 a month to support your favorite Steelers YouTube show. I don't run ads, I don't try to sell you shit. I just bust my ass every season to bring you the absolute best and most unique Steelers content on the internet. If you want a season 6, you gotta vote with your wallet. Do it now. Now roll the game. Back to Baltimore, and as if that wasn't unappetizing enough as it is, it's still pouring and freezing. Yuck. The only thing worse than this weather is the Ravens' second-team offense, which can't run anywhere on first, and on second it should be soon-to-be three-time Defensive Player of the Year Trent Jordan Watt, who grabs his league-leading 18th sack of the season, setting up a third in eternity for Huntley, who's got a better chance of traveling to Mars in his lifetime than he does of converting this. Now this is a f***ing punter. Great recovery and return for Calvin Austin, though, who I actually thought was important for the Steelers today in a couple spots. He's probably never going to be a great player, but he's definitely useful. Remember when people said Naj was terrible? Remember when they said he had no vision or burst? Does he lead the league in 15-plus yard runs this year? Gotta be close. Steelers find themselves way behind the 8-ball, though, after a penalty on third and already long, and Mason bobbles the snap. He was probably just surprised it was so on target, and he falls on it to save the possession but end the drive. But just as quickly as the Ravens arrive, they bend the knee to the reigning, defending, until further notice, best defensive player in the world, Trentavious Jordanian Watt, the earth-shattering, moon-rattling eater of worlds who takes Huntley down for his 19th sack, joining his brother as the only players in NFL history to achieve that milestone twice in their careers. Back to Mason and the Naj man, and what do you know, he's slicing through the Ravens practice squad like a hot knife through butter for another gash. But on second and long, James Daniels takes a breather and forgets to block Simpson to put the nails in this drive's coffin. Luckily, Huntley couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Maybe so, but even a 5-year-old could hit a tight end over the middle when the Steelers got Charlie Batch playing off-ball linebacker. And again, Tyler finds some time and fires over the middle. And who really gives a because down in a furious heap is the eater of worlds himself, TJ Watt, who, like many a Steeler before him, succumbs to friendly fire. This time by way of Montravius Adams, and I'd like to ask that we pause in silence for a brief 10-bell salute on behalf of the GOAT.
First letter S. U. C.
We're back, and Tyler Huntley still can't find anyone, and come on, you know how this goes. The Steeler way ain't letting the hero go down on his shield with an L. We got this. This might not be Najee's best game statistically as a pro, but for me, considering the situation, I really think it was his best game so far. He just controlled this thing from start to finish in a way I haven't seen a Steelers back do since Le'Veon, and you know that's high praise coming from me. Pickens gets his first and only touch of the game, and somehow it's still huge as he converts a gotta-have-it 3rd and 1 on the end around. Love to see it. At least TJ is walking, I guess. Najee hammers him for a few more, and that takes us to the 4th and final stanza, and our
5-star
play of the game.
7-7, beginning the 4th. 3rd and 4. Ravens bring some pressure. It's picked up and down the middle. The catch is made by Deontay Johnson. And will not catch him. Pittsburgh takes the lead. 71-yard strike.
Mason Rudolph has started 3 games this season. He has the second most 60-plus yard touchdowns in the league with 3. No one besides him and Tua have more than 2. Think about that for a second. With this 71-yard laser threaded between 3 defenders and the gorgeous gallop of the suddenly touchdown-proficient Deontay Johnson, the Steelers regain the lead 14-7, and I just don't know what to make of what we're watching at the quarterback position these last 3 games. I think Mason Rudolph has become indispensable? Dagger by the deuce. Blah, 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 boring rain offense stuff for the Ravens practice squad offense. A couple runs, a pass or two to Aguilar, who I'm always surprised is still in the NFL. The Ravens are back near midfield. Luckily, there's a reason Aguilar isn't a featured player, and Huntley still couldn't hit the broadside of a big-ass barn with a beach ball, and it's back to the Steelers' sizzling fajita of an offense with a chance to salt it away. Another nice return by CA3 to really flip the field in a way that many will miss in the box score. Big difference between starting at the 10 or the 43. Nice day at the office for the young man today. Steelers continue to tempt fate as I scream into the 5-star matchup Discord server to please stop feeding the greasy-fingered Jay, who bobbles again nearly unprompted, and on cue he does it again, but luckily the Steelers recover, I guess? What an ugly game this is turning into, but hey, they're in Baltimore, so we already knew it was gonna be ugly. Press Harvin almost gets a break, but no dice, and wow, look at this stat ESPN showed. Steelers defense has been mixed at best this year, but anytime you're second to only San Francisco in anything, that's probably a pretty good sign. Ravens continue to bet on the run game, and that sets up the rare second
5-star
Play of the game.
Again, it's a run to Edwards. It does. Move to 6. Lost the football. Pittsburgh's got it.
Eric rose his fist directly into the gut of the fake bus, Gus Edwards, who yaks it up like a dog who just ate a bunch of garbage, and the Steelers take over already deep within the Wizard of Oz's range, with the outcome of this game largely at hand. Still the matter of the clock though, but who really cares about that when you got the mutter extraordinaire Najee Harris, who has continued to lean into the bully back identity late in his third year, and I for one could not be more here for that. Gotta pick up his 5th-year option. Obligatory whop, and the clock just keeps ticking into the future. More classic gridiron for the Naj man, who for the 3rd year in a row to start his career is over the 1,000-yard mark, and I couldn't be happier for the bruising back who has each year of his career gotten better as the season has worn on and still has missed next to no time. What an incredible athlete 22 is. More of the talented Mr. Harris show keeps the clock ticking and the down marker moving, but on 3rd and goal, the Steelers show why there's zero chance they can promote their permanent OC from internally with another completely unnecessarily tempting of fate. Like seriously, are you kidding me on this? The way Jalen has handled the ball today, all it takes is one punch out or a bobble and a DB is tying this game 90 yards later. Absolute insanity by the Faulkner-Sullivan ticket. Luckily, he hangs on to it, and for one last time this regular season, we trot out the ice-blooded, grass-balled, kicker with the heart of gold, who, like usual, is... Steelers pull to an insurmountable 17-7 lead as we ponder what the future may or may not hold for our beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm writing and recording this part before 1 p.m.
I'll be back from the future when I know more.
Mike Vrabel generally tough if typically undermanned Titans find themselves in possession of a 15-point second-half lead as they fend off the collapsing Jaguars. And it was about this time that I started to wonder just exactly how much it would hurt when Trevor Lawrence ties it up as time expires. Jags open the 4th with a score to bring them within punching distance, but on the Titans' next drive, Ryan Tannehill says not so fast as he rifles one for a dagger first, but just 2 plays later he reminds everyone of exactly why the Titans have firmly planted their flag on planet Levis for the foreseeable future, and oh, can't you just see the collapse coming? Luckily, the Jags fool no one but themselves, drawing a killer hold that sets them off course, but the Jags make up for it, eventually converting a first, but tick, 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 tick. The clock keeps ticking as they churn down after down, ultimately resulting in a desperation 4th and goal sneak by the hobbled Lawrence, who does not get it. The Titans' stout red zone D stands strong and holds the miserable Jags offense out of the end zone to keep the Steelers' playoff dreams alive. Still the matter of finishing the game though, and just like he's finishing his run as a reasonably successful starting quarterback in this league, Ryan Tannehill is apparently dead set on going big cat hunting today. Peep this Najee and the Steelers-esque pile push for a crucial first down. That's a team playing for its coach, my friends. Clearly the Titans players like Mike Vrabel. Y'all should keep him around, in my humble opinion. Time keeps ticking as Tannehill goes down to end the Titans' drive, and it's back to the clearly physically limited Trevor Lawrence and the lagging Jags offense with 2 minutes and no timeouts. Fear not, Yinzers, because Lawrence scrambles for a few, rockets a deep one that's wide open, but he misses it.
Time going deep. Oh, he's got Ridley! He's got him! Oh, he had him at the...
Hey, don't disrespect the terrible towel.
Leads to a pair more incompletions, this final one, of course, with Cookie's favorite son, Terrell Edmonds, in coverage.
Lawrence to the air, incomplete over the head, Ingram!
And say it with me, your
Tennessee Titans
Are 6-11.
What was that? Was I in Cerebro again? I can't remember anything, but it feels like I've seen each and
every possibility, an endless sea of traumatic and beautiful football chaos. I've been to Sunday and I've seen, I know the Tennessee Titans have been victorious over the chaotically collapsing Jacksonville Jaguars. And say it with me, your Pittsburgh Steelers are 10-7 and going to the playoffs. Look, you can say this, you can say that, you can predict this, you can predict that. But if you're going to look me in the face and say that you knew in August that this was how this season was gonna go, I think you might be Professor X. This is just the most insane finish to a season that I can remember in my now 30 plus years as a Steelers fan. I simply cannot believe that we're going to be talking about a playoff game this week. And not only that, who is the hottest quarterback entering the playoffs? You'd certainly have a case to argue for the man in the number 2 jersey, wouldn't ya? After an astonishingly efficient performance in the pouring rain, in which Brett Mason Rudolph III completed 90% of his passes, a Steelers record, 18 of 20, and Najee Harris and a dominant offensive line bulldozed the proud, if a little undermanned, Ravens in their house, and the Steelers entered the playoffs as a mystifying Rubik's Cube of a team. A team that, on the surface, really is only good at one thing, scoring defense. They're led by an offense that has underachieved for years now, but in the last 3 weeks has stumbled back asswards onto a staggeringly simple answer at the quarterback position. After all, Mason Rudolph was always just there, learning, growing, being a professional. Is Mason suddenly positioned for the Nick Foles arc? I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm still excited to see how this story plays out on the grander stage of the playoffs. And at the end of the day, the Steelers made it to the playoffs, and no matter how they got it done, I've got to give them credit. I went on record repeatedly saying that once they dropped 3 in a row to fall to 7-7, that they were going to lose out to go 7-10. I was absolutely wrong, and I apologize. I still do think that 3-game losing streak was inexcusable, and the main reason we needed to wait for help from the Titans, but I'll concede that considering the injuries on defense and the bold shift from Trubisky to Mason Rudolph, that Mike T and team did a great job down the final stretch of this season, and I hope they come out playing like they have nothing to lose next week, because they don't. I still think they need a serious offensive coordinator from the outside, and more than ever, I believe that they absolutely must re-sign Mason Rudolph and give him a legit competition with Pickett next year. I still can't believe I'm uttering those words in 2024, but here we are. But those things are for the near future. In the immediate future, we worry much more about the AFC playoff field, and just who the hell the Steelers will be playing as they go for their first postseason victory since 2016. And you know what, folks? It's not often that I'm at a loss for words, but I got nothing to say besides, here we go.
I've achieved my dream, no matter what I was going to play here at the end of the season or not, playing in the NFL, and it's just better to have gratitude. Thank God for the whole journey, than to ever be resentful if this would have been it for me.
And if you're still here, you better be on that Patreon business. I say it every week, you know damn well this show is worth $4 a month. But also, love all of y'all, and thanks for another year.